What's up to all my rich witches and rich wizards out there in Weezy Wonderland? I'm doing a get ready with me, putting some lashes on. Allegedly, I got a hot date tonight. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm gonna put some lashes on. I'm gonna tell y'all about the time I got fired from a local radio station here in Atlanta for not having enough Instagram followers. So I began interning at this company. Junior year, the end of junior year, I applied. I killed it at the interview. It was great. Got the internship, had a great summer, 2015, great summer. We outside, we interning, we working for free, don't care because we having a blast, we having a ball. But also, it's just a lot of fun. Like, you working on your passions, it's a whole lot of fun. The intern coordinator, he gives us some advice. Oh my God. He gives us some advice. Some of the advice is to be in the building. That's where the opportunities are. The other advice he gives us is to do your work. In fact, don't just do your work, be ahead of schedule, be on time, be early, have your work done early, be prepared for the opportunities, always be prepared, over prepare yourself, okay? This is what he's telling us. This shouldn't be as fun as it is telling this story. So anyway, I'm being over prepared like I'm supposed to be. Somebody goes on maternity leave. During that time, somebody else came in to do their job, to do the entertainment news. The last day that this person, the real person who's on the show, on this particular radio show, the last day that person was on maternity leave was also the last day that the other person was supposed to cover for them, but their wires got crossed, so the spot was vacant. Who's gonna do the entertainment news? So the producer at the time looked around the room. He asked everybody in the room, do you want to do the entertainment news? No, I'm scared. What? You scared? Do you want to do the entertainment news? No, I'm not ready. Watch this. Chinwei, you want to do it? Hell yeah. Now, see me? I was raised by Joe Jackson, if you will. I was raised by a Matthew Knowles. So when you have a talent, you're always performing. You can never be put on the spot. Even if you're nervous, you're gonna perform, because that's what you was trained to do. Get in here and read that poem. Get in here and do the John Legend. That was my daddy, okay? Because he said my voice sounded just like John Legend's. So he would have me sing Ordinary People all the time. But you can never be put on the spot when you got a boomer for a parent that finds out that you have a talent. So I'm ready. Not only am I ready because I'm used to being put on the spot, Chinweezy had already done her work, right? She had already put the stories on the website, which was my job as the intern. She had already scheduled the stories ahead of time, scheduled them for Instagram, scheduled them for the website. So my work was done. And what was my job? To write the entertainment news stories. So when it's time to record, guess who's ready? But not only do I just hop on the mic, something else that I was brought up to do is to practice. So I'm going in the bathroom and I practice, and this is what I continued to do all the way through me getting hired to me getting fired. I would always go in the bathroom and practice before I would get on air. Now, even though this first day they pre-recorded it, because you know we're not just going to throw you out in the open water, even though we know you can swim. We record it, we pre-track it. I'm one take away, always have been. Flawless, landed, victory. So I go on air. My dad says, do a different accent every day. I said, they're gonna laugh at me. So every day I do a different accent. One day I do like a Valley British girl accent. One day I do like a real Southern, real country Southern accent. And then I think I was super ghetto another day. And then of course I got to the British accent. And so the person who showed us looked at me and said, if you do that accent every day, I'll get you hired. My senior year of college. Now, I'm still interning the second half of senior year. All this started like in January of 2016. So I'm still interning, but I'm still getting to be on air every day. So I don't care if it's free. I get to be on air. That's every intern's dream. Are you kidding me? So I'm showing up every day. I'm doing the news. I'm doing a great job at it, okay? I'm killing the game. Still doing my internally duties, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't think I was big-headed or nothing. I'm still me, cool, because I'm just so grateful and so happy to be here doing something that I love. Like, I'm not gonna take that for granted. So anyway, in this time though, I go on spring break, and you know, they now starting to let other interns get on air. They're not as good as me. I've been doing this a long time, for one. Number two, I practice. I don't just get on, I write everything out, then I go in the bathroom and practice, then I get on air. I don't just get on air and start talking. Like, No, that junk is scary. You got to practice. So they thinking they can just throw anybody on the air. And it's not me being conceited. This is just facts. They thinking they can just throw anybody on the air because it looks like I just got thrown on the air. No, baby, a lot of groundwork has gone into this. And that's a message for somebody. You are ordained and you're in a space and you might have imposter syndrome, but you've done the groundwork. And it may not necessarily be in that field that you're in right now, but doesn't mean that you haven't done the groundwork in other places. That's called karma, and it's accumulating for people. That was a public spiritual announcement for somebody. So anyway, so I leave again. I quit. I kind of quit. I take a sabbatical like soon after I get my degree, because once I graduate, I'm expecting the jobs to come through, right? That's what we expect as millennials. We were told, go to college, get a good job in your field, intern, especially if you intern at a company, you expect to get hired. And I did all this great work. I made y'all look great. Nah, that ain't how that happened. So I was like, okay. So I went to New York for a couple weeks, spent time with my mama. Then I get a call when I'm at the Statue of Liberty. You ready to come back to work? Now, yeah, no, y'all done had all these other flugazis on air because they was the intern coordinator. So he was putting all these random floozies on air, but they sound a hot mess. So you're mad because I spurned your advances. The intern coordinator is asking interns to the movies individually. Okay? This was during fall of 2015, winter of 2015. So there are creeps in every industry, everywhere you go, just so you know. There's no running from it. You got to stand up for yourself. And hopefully spot it when you see it and turn it down. And just pray that your angels and your praying grandmothers are protecting y'all from these creeps and these perverts out here, because they everywhere and you can't trust nobody. Not for real. Not these men. Untrustworthy until proven trustworthy. Seriously. And that's because they're perverts before they're even dogs. Before you even know whether or not they're dogs. So anyway, I digress. I get back to work. I sign. It's lit. Key to the Streets had came out that summer at the anniversary party of the radio station. All the artists came and performed it. It's just a really lit time. Like, I'm having a ball. You can't tell me nothing. I did everything the right way. I went to school. I graduated. I got an internship. Now I got this really cool job that I worked really hard at and that I feel like I deserve. Everything's going cool. Then the fall comes, and that's where I'm starting to feel ostracized. That's where I'm starting to feel like I'm not really a part of the show. And it's being made this way by the intern coordinator, who at this point I'm sure is probably the APD, the assistant program director. So around October, the leader of the show came to me. He was like, he pulled me aside. He was like, Chinwe, you got to start doing more. You got to start doing more. And I'm like, what do you mean doing more? He was like, you got to be outside. Huh? You not in them streets. You got to be in them streets. And he was like trying to say it the nicest way possible, but basically like, you not hoish enough. You ain't on Instagram hoeing enough. And the reason why this is so important at this time, 2016, is because WCW was really big. Do y'all remember Teacher Bay, the original Teacher Bay? She lost her job for going to radio stations because she was invited, because she was gaining all these followers via Instagram. So the station, before it got the really popping morning show that it has now and has had for quite some time, it needed numbers, right? It needed numbers. And so you had to come to the table with numbers. You know how most of the time you get put on with a company, a TV station, radio station, agency, they put you on? It's almost as if this nigga shit was using you, as opposed to you using their name and their brand to build yourself up. They're using you. And if you didn't have the followers, or if you weren't on Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives or something like that, and they couldn't use you, use your notoriety. So how were women gaining notoriety? WCW was popping at this time. I mean, we would have WCWs come in on Wednesday and interview them. Mind you, these hoes couldn't even read a one-liner. What's a one-liner, Chinwe? Think about it. They're stumbling. We're having to pre-record several times because hoes and niggas can't read. I got a degree in journalism, and you're telling me I'm not in the streets enough? So I started going to our stuff, Josephine's on a Thursday or whatever the case may be, taking pictures of my cleavage and shit like that. But ultimately, if people want to fire you, they'll fire you. And if people want to hate on you, they'll hate on you. Which brings us to an air check. An air check is when you sit and listen to your reports and you analyze it with the program director, the assistant program director. Well, it doesn't always have to be the program director, but the APD is definitely going to be in the room. So we listen back, and I'm a Virgo. I'm hard on myself. And at this time, you couldn't really play this stuff back. So if you heard it, fine. If you, it's like you had to catch it, or somebody had to record it for you and send it to you, so that way you could hear yourself. So this is like one of the few times I really heard myself, and I was like, so he played it. He was like, "Well, what do you hear?" I was like, "Damn, I sound good." And I think that pissed him off because he wasn't expecting me to say that. Most people is gonna beat themselves up. You're not used to hearing your own voice. You know, it's awkward. But because I'm a Virgo and I spend my days criticizing and analyzing myself, trust me, when I heard myself back sounding good, I was just as shocked as anybody else listening. And I'm like, damn, that's what people hear every day? That shit sounds amazing. Like, I've been so hard on myself, and here I am really out here killing the game, and I was proud of myself. When I tell you, I think I enraged him, and I'm getting chills in my legs right now. I'm pretty certain I enraged him. He said, well, it doesn't really sound Atlanta, like it doesn't sound relatable. He said it doesn't sound relatable, and I'm gonna look up the etymology of relatable and put it on the screen. He said it doesn't sound relatable. I said, that's the point. The point is for it to be different. That's the point. The point is for it to be different. It's not supposed to be relatable. We're supposed to have something different that makes people tune in. He was like, no, you know, you're from Atlanta, and so that should really be a part of your personality on there. And I'm like, whatever, nigga. That shit sounds amazing. You sound like a hater. He was like, and they're over talking you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. Hater alert. Hater, more. So then he's like, you know, do you have any questions for us? And I'm like, well, another one of my co-hosts is telling me that he and this other guy are getting a show, and this show is being moved up, and there's a lot of changes going on. So what does that mean for me? Do I still have a job? Oh, that's not true. And I'm like, no, this is true. He's showing me the flyers. He's playing their theme music. It is true. Why would he lie to me? Why would he just have that stuff on hand just because? No, they're preparing for another show. He sat there and lied to my face. I digress. I got called in the office after my shift, after I had sat there all 4 hours, and I was let go. And I don't even remember the reason. What he said. I don't remember what the guy said the reason was, but I just remember being so annoyed because it's like, number one, I sat here all day. Number two, I asked you this like 2-3 weeks ago. I asked you this, and you straight up lied to my face when you could have just told me, yeah, Chinwe, start looking for another job. Because that's what I didn't understand above all else, is why did you lie to me? And then the rest of the betrayal set in to, you was supposed to be looking out for me as the intern coordinator, or I thought you saw something in me, or just, you know, always looking for a father figure, or trusting men, I guess, or trusting people. You're supposed to be like a mentor to me and show me the ropes and all that stuff. And you really was mad that you couldn't fuck me, and so you got me fired. And you're still not on air all these years later. Boop. That right there sent me into a spiral, which launched CMC Productions worldwide. And I've been on a tailspin ever since, just trying to find my footing in it. But it also taught me a lot about, you don't rely on these jobs. No matter how good the job is, you have to have your own platform outside of it, because anything could happen. Especially in this political climate, you could say anything, rub anybody the wrong way, and it's over with. Or they could rub you the wrong way. Like, a job could just not work for you. They could be toxic and evil as fuck. You got to be ready to, and not be scared to exit stage left. In this day and age, our spirits are way too sensitive to be in bullshit. And before, you know, it was hard for me to quit a job. If I quit a job, that means I really, you're really done it. You've really done it, big guy, if I quit a job. But some places I really had to be pushed out of, and that was one of those places, and it was devastating for a long time. I hope that I've done the work to let it go. Sometimes I just be feeling all this Scorpio grudge energy, so I'm working on it. But maybe sharing this will help me to get off my chest. Maybe sharing this and reaching my 3,000 watch hours and getting monetized on YouTube will make it all worth it if I get paid for my story. I'm serious. So share, like, subscribe. I thank y'all for sitting this long. Please share your journeys in the comments or anything else you want me to touch on. There's a lot of Chinweezy lore. That's just one job of thousands that I've had. But there's a lot of story times I could do and a lot of transparencies I could do, and y'all could figure out the in-betweens. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, vibing, subscribing. Make sure you're there every Friday for Freestyle Fridays and Tarot Tuesdays. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Mwah. Bye.